What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got the whole barn, all the boys in here. We've got Coach, we've got Austin. Everybody's hanging out. Mock Draft 2.0 after the Combine. What'd you guys think of the Combine? I know we gave the post-Combine reactions, but I loved Sunday with the big boys. That was a great day to watch. We've got some athletic offensive linemen coming in this year.
That's what I was thinking. Them boys are moving. They were scooting.
Like the three
Like
cone drills looked good, the 20-yard shuttles, the 10-yard burst on the 40s looked good. Like they looked fluid, like especially the top guys. Like to me, I was really watching, and first time in a while I've actually really paid attention to offensive line. And those top guys, the way they move in and out of their breaks and, simulating the pulls, and they definitely set themselves apart with, the guys that are projected to go in the later rounds.
You could see the speed and the athleticism, like the versatility from the guys that are, especially like the guards, man. Like the tackles are freaking mountains. But we have a couple of athletic tackles that are going to be doing some pulling and doing some stuff that Mike McDaniel might like. Just saying.
Hey, I hope so. Just get all the offensive linemen. Full draft of just nothing.
I'll take it.
The way we're going to do this, we're obviously not doing any trades because that's just digging deep into the bag, and we're just not doing that right now.
Not yet. We'll get there.
We're all going to alternate. Coach is going to take the first pick. I'll go with the second. Austin will take the third, and then we'll just keep going from there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and throw you on the clock. Coach, who you got with the number one?
So I was thinking I'd throw a wrench in the bag, and they're going to go ahead and select Caleb Williams. Shocker.
No way.
Yes.
Never would have saw that coming.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to happen on the day.
I don't think I've seen that mocked anywhere.
No.
That's spicy. That's going to get us some views right here at the beginning.
Hey, there we go. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, boys.
Yeah,
but Washington
that little bell.
So, like, are you guys saying there's no possibility?
I'm just saying
it
that
could be anybody else, or that
I
Field
would be
stays.
shocked.
It's
utterly shocked.
Whenever we get through their pro days, we're gonna get a better idea. If Jaden Daniels' pro day is just so freaking electric, then maybe he takes the spot. But I don't think that Drake May, going to a smaller school that's a basketball school, even with all the talent that he had, he just doesn't have enough going for him. What Caleb did with absolutely nobody to throw the ball to for the last 2 seasons was impressive. He's shown that he can make every throw. He's athletic. He has all the intangibles that you need. He's the number one drafted player for a quarterback needy team, which the Bears are.
Agreed.
He had Garrett, not Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, didn't he?
Last year, but
last year, yeah, he did.
And he's got another receiver coming out this year. So
Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, I think is his highest ranked wide receiver coming out.
And he's a day 3, maybe end of day 2 pick at this point on most people's boards.
Hurting him because maybe of Caleb a little bit because he's such a hot prospect?
Caleb, you're projecting the ceiling with him, and with the style that he plays, a la Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and his ability, we've seen it. The dude will roll out to his left, flip back, throw it off one foot, and the ball goes 55 yards in the air on a dime. He's got it. It's just a matter of, is he going to be put in the same situation Justin Fields was, to where he doesn't really have any time to develop because they can't build a team around him.
Which they're picking again at 9, and I think that they go
and they've got so much cap space. If they ruin this, everybody's fired, and they probably don't have another front office job in the league. But moving on, number 2, Washington Commanders. Now, after the Combine especially, there's been a lot of talk of, Drake May going here, even possibly J.J. McCarthy. Until I see, what they give us in the pro days, I'm not changing what we had in our prior mock, so I'm still going Jaden Daniels here at number 2. I think, again, just projecting the ceiling and what this guy gives you as far as from being able to throw from the pocket, throw outside of the pocket, what he's able to do with the ball in his hands when he moves is reminiscent of what Lamar gives you on Sundays. That and a new owner, they're building a new stadium here in the future for him. To me, it just all adds up. Get the most exciting guy on the board here. So that's Jaden Daniels.
It could be, but the the real most exciting guy on the board that's left now is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's going to be picked up by the Patriots at pick 3.
Oh,
Yeah, they
I
go make a
appreciate you
splash.
calling my bluff. I really thought this was the JJ McCarthy pick. I was like, Austin's gonna do it. I just know
could
it.
see him doing it because Tom went there, Michigan quarterback. But if Bill was there, I could see him doing it. But without Bill there, they're not going to pull that trigger. I don't really know what kind of culture
Bob
they have
Kraft
going there
played
yet.
against Marvin Harrison Sr. for years upon years in the AFC playoffs. So it wouldn't shock me if they went a veteran quarterback route or somehow tried to make a move for Justin Fields and go ahead and take Marvin Harrison.
I think
There's rumors of them
Kirk
trading
Cousins.
out. I think at this point, nobody really knows what the Patriots are going to do. And this pick, actually, even though they're an interdivision rival, really excites me because it could go so many different ways.
Yes. So Cardinals are on the board, and their number 1 prospect has been taken. We talked in the last mock about how Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison are so close that they really are almost a 1A, 1B, like we got from Bijan last year. So I think that Malik Neighbors still on the board is where they're going to go. They could absolutely go Joe Alt here and try to shore up the offensive line a little bit.
Noah Dunze?
So I think that Malik Neighbors
could be a toss-up.
Yes, he was great, but they already have I don't know. They already have Michael Wilson. Like, Malik Neighbors is a total game changer on the field. Adunze had a lot of things going for him, which I'm not saying Malik Neighbors didn't. I think that whenever he has his pro day, we're going to truly see how athletic he is and just how electric he is. But he's absolutely my number 2 wide receiver at this point.
Not mad at it. Don't have many arguments against it. So moving on, Chargers at number 5. Now, this is another one to where I feel like it could go many different ways. I wouldn't be shocked to see Adunze get pulled off the board here. I wouldn't be shocked to see Brock Bowers come off the board here. But for me, knowing how Harbaugh likes to build the trenches, I'm going to go with Joe Alt. His combine was good enough for me to where it kind of solidified himself as the number 1 offensive tackle in the draft. And I honestly don't think he even needs to really do his pro day. I think you just go with the tape and what you've put on in the combine for those numbers, and you just chill out, keep your body healthy, and roll with it.
I love that pick. Joe Alt's to be picked for the Chargers, build up that line, protect that boy, Herbert.
And that's the main thing is you've got to keep Herbert upright. And like what he did at Michigan, all the Michigan offensive linemen that will be drafted, I won't be shocked to see a couple of them get picked up by the Chargers either. I just think Harbaugh's really going to try to build the trenches because they've already said how much they want to lean on the run and give Justin Herbert a legit running game. So you've got to start up front with that.
They have a top 5 youngest and most expensive line, and their right tackle just left a lot to be desired last year. I think that that's the only real weakness on their line. Getting a guy like Joe Alt means that you no longer have that weakness. You
have Joe Alt with Rashawn Slater on the left side. Like, that's dominant, bro. Like, that, I'm salivating at that. So, Austin, you're at number 6 with the Giants.
Yeah, so the Giants, they're in desperate need of a quarterback. Do they take one here? I think it's the smart choice for them. And with what they have to offer,
I think
they go with Drake May.
I think with him being available,
with the way the board falls, if Drake, I think this is one of those where they don't expect one of the top 3 quarterbacks to fall here. Which I just want to preface this where we're not doing trades. I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. goes number 3, if the Patriots don't trade out of there, I think the Cardinals trade out of 4 because they're going to be offered a haul for somebody trying to jump up to get Drake May if he's still on the board, or Jaden Daniels. There could even be a trade up in this somewhere in this area right here for JJ McCarthy if teams are starting to panic and don't think he'll fall to him because he's going top 13. 100%.
Raiders have been talked about a lot for trading up into like the top 6, 7, or 8.
Raiders, Falcons, and Vikings, I think, are the prime teams to trade up. The Broncos just don't have the ammunition to do it. So I like Drake May going to New York. That To me, he's a clear upgrade over Daniel Jones, and you reset the clock. Same thing with Justin Fields with what they're doing in Chicago. So, I mean, they've got Daniel Jones under contract for what, 1 or 2 more years before they can get out free and clear.
Yes. So they give some
quarterback
time.
to have
But
under
that's
him.
the thing. You're paying him. So if you end up drafting a rookie on his rookie contract and he ends up being better, okay, whatever. You're still paying one quarterback starting quarterback money and the other one a rookie salary.
Yep.
So I love that there. What do you got at number 7 here for us with the Titans?
The Titans have been crossing their fingers the whole time, hoping that something like this happens. And even if Rome Odunze was taken at 6, which would have been a great pickup, I think that they would have still taken, Brian Thomas Jr. At 7. But with Rome being there, I personally do think that I like Brian Thomas a little bit more. But I'm biased on just how athletic and like how
that's what's getting you is the overall speed and athleticism.
Yes,
where
he was
I
so
completely
crazy.
understand that. Honestly, like the more I've watched it, I've fell in love with Rome so much more, and he just seems like such more of the complete wide receiver, the big body guy, the possession guy, like just overall. He's what you're looking for, especially coming out there and running a 4.4 to solidify. He's got that speed for you as a number 1 guy.
In a lot of ways, he looks like he could easily become Davante Adams. And Davante Adams was the elite of elite receivers. He's around the same speed.
I've seen his
He's a little bit bigger.
Davante, or I've seen him comp to D-Hop too, which if he goes to the Titans and gets to learn under that guy, even more better to you. So Rome going to the Titans at number 7. I love that. We've got pretty much how we think it's going to go: 3 wide receivers and 3 quarterbacks within the first 7 picks. Like, I see that almost in every mock. So we're pretty much on track. We're doing good. If you think we're doing solid, comment below. Hit those noties. Hit that subscribe. Number 7, Atlanta on the clock. Number 8. My bad.
It's a toughie.
Atlanta is one of those teams rumored to trade up. Are they getting Kirk Cousins? Are they trading for Justin Fields? Are they going to sign Russell Wilson? Like, so many rumors. But because a lot of their rumors are centered around quarterback, I'm pulling the trigger on JJ McCarthy. I don't know if he falls past here. If he does, like I said, it's not going to be any further than the Raiders at 13. But new coaching staff, you're bringing in, trying to restart the clock with all the other young guys that you have in there. Why not bring in a proven winner, if anything, in JJ McCarthy? People always move the goalpost with quarterback stats being wins. And, it didn't work out. Or, yeah, he won, but he only threw for 124 yards. Yeah, but how many turnovers did he have? Was it 0? Was he able to matriculate drives and get the ball down the field and do what he needed to? Like, it's those intangibles that people on Twitter and draft social media overlook because they want the things like the 40. They want Joe Milton throwing at 73 yards. So JJ would not be shocked to see him in Atlanta.
He's got crisp footwork and a solid arm backing it up.
Now Bears are on the clock for their second pick of the draft. They've got their quarterback of the future. They've reset the clock. What do they do at 9?
Well, they could snag up that receiver y'all were talking about, but I think they build up the trenches a little bit. Where's that? Oh, yeah, there he is. Fashanu. Fashanu.
Olu Fashanu?
Oluwamama with Fashanu.
Yeah. Right, there you go.
Offensive tackle from Penn State. It's protect Caleb. I'm torn between getting him another weapon on the other side of DJ Moore and just helping him have some protection back there. So I think they go with the protection, though, tackle.
I like that.
I mean, that's one of those where you can't really argue it, especially if you just drafted a quarterback. Like, if he can't get protected, then who's he going to throw the ball to anyway? So I could see it go tackle. I could see that be a spot for Brock Bowers as well.
That was another one I was looking at.
The Jets, you still left them some tackles on the board, so I don't think they're too mad going over here. So who do you got for the Jets at 10?
I'm thinking we're just going to go with the highest rated tackle so far. There's kind of a little bit of a fall off. Like Jackson Power Johnson, if they had such a big need, but Mekhi Becton was legitimately, he gave up more sacks than like everybody last year. Talisi Fuaga, just, he's off the charts in everything that you're looking for from the position. From just like size, 6'6", 334. He had a solid outing over the weekend.
And play guard too.
So he's versatile. I think that they just need so much help that they have to go with the highest rated player, and that's that. Now, obviously, they could have gone J.C. Latham, but J.C. Latham didn't like help himself a bunch at the combine. From what I saw, he wasn't like the most explosive player or really anything across the board. So I think they go with the higher rated guy at this point.
If I was the coach of the Jets, it would be hard for me not to look at the Georgia or Alabama tackles over this, Oregon guy.
Vikings at 11. With the quarterbacks off the board, Vikings fans are kind of sitting there shaking their fist. Why I oughta? So I think they switch over to the defensive side. Now, I could see them going corner or edge. And with Brian Flores and his defense, I could see him leaning either way for sure. But for me, I'm taking Dallas Turner over Jared Verse because Brian Flores has kind of showed a history of a little affinity for guys in the SEC, especially kind of Alabama, those Nick Saban coached guys. They're used to being coached a little hard. So going over to him, it's not going to be that much of a difference. And I mean, dude posted the fastest combine or fastest 40 of any defensive lineman. And I believe any linebacker overall maybe came in second. Like, dude absolutely is just a hell of an athlete. He's going to be a terror off the edge. And like with the quarterbacks gone, your wide receivers and tight ends kind of set. Your offensive line is serviceable other than the interior, but it's a little high for that. Get a pass rusher, one of the premium positions in the league. Go ahead, snag it.
You said Arnold or Verse?
He took
Dallas Turner.
Oh, Turner.
So neither.
Yeah, I got it already. So that's why. Yeah,
Denver Broncos.
That's a team I could see still going after QB, depending on what they want to do with Kirk. So
I think that it's likely that they convince Kirk to not take a fully guaranteed contract after the injury, because they've been pretty vocal that they don't want to fully guarantee him again, even though they have for like the last 4 years.
I think any rumors with Kirk is him trying to get more money out of the Vikings. Like, yeah. I don't think he wants to pack his family up again. They've been in Minnesota now for 6 or 7 years. Like, you've built a life there. He knows he's getting towards the end of his career. It's not like he's got 10 years left on the clock. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see them work something out there, especially after I'm really excited for this free agency because that's where we'll really get an idea on where these dominoes are falling. So, Denver at 12. Who you got, Austin?
Well, this just in, Russell Wilson is no longer a part of the Denver Broncos.
Nope.
So, news broke earlier today, and a first and a second and Noah Fant that they had to trade to be able to get Russell
Not
Wilson.
To mention what they traded for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Like, the way since the Waltons took over for the Broncos, they are realizing the NFL don't work on those Walmart prices. Like, it is real when you pay that.
Yep.
So them drafting a QB with JJ already being gone, would they be stretching and reaching for a QB at this position? Like, there's nobody. Like,
QBs are completely different to me as far as whenever you're pulling the trigger. If you're close on a guy, as far as their grades, like if they've got a fringe first round grade on Bo Nix, yeah, it may be a little high, but I also wouldn't be shocked to see it happen because they need a quarterback. And unless they get a veteran to come there, that to me, I think Sean Payton is wanting to draft a guy almost regardless on who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're the GM. You make the call.
he definitely has his type of quarterbacks that he likes, I feel like. And out of these quarterbacks that are left, it's got to just be Bo Nix. I mean, he just fits the build for him. He's got more speed with his legs than we've seen with like his past quarterbacks. But
see, I think
it'll be interesting to see what he does with them.
I think Penix is.
I like that.
Penix is had a lot of comparison to Tua, who's had a lot of comparison to Drew Brees. I do think the accuracy. I think that's what he values a lot out of his quarterbacks is decision making and accuracy. Now,
but that injury history comes into play a lot too.
The whole league has started to shift into if you don't have some athleticism for third downs to be able to make runs, then you're going to fail. And he thought he was going to have that in Russ. So they could absolutely go with somebody that's a little bit more athletic. I think that the Raiders are cheering right now because Michael Penix is still there. They have Davante Adams.
I feel like those people fit their builds better. Like Bo Nix fits the Broncos system better. Penix will fit the Raiders system. Like it's a gritty system over there.
They have Davante Adams. They have Hunter Renfrow. They have technicians at route running. So
Jacoby Myers was solid. Don't laugh at that.
Yeah, I guess
he was a solid receiver this last year.
So I think Penix off the board, which is crazy that we've got 6 quarterbacks in the first 13 picks.
If I'll be honest, I would have picked Joe Milton before these guys. Dude has the best cannon in the draft.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all he does. He can throw it really hard and really far. But that doesn't help whenever you have, like I said, my reasoning behind it was that you have 2 of the best route runners in football. What Hunter Renfrow did before Davante Adams took 70% of the targets was great. He was a solid guy. Cooper Kupp was taking his routes in the goal line and scoring more touchdowns than anybody that year because of it. So I think Penix, he's got the accuracy. He does have some of the size. I think that he would be a phenomenal pickup for them.
Not mad at it. I am willing to bet we don't see 6 quarterbacks go in the first 13.
That's what I'm saying.
This is exciting and awesome. So
here comes another team with the need for quarterbacks.
Yeah, Saints on the board at 14. They are setting the whole draft room on fire and just walking out right now. But because we're not able to trade back or do anything like that, I think they look at Amarius Mims and his build and his athleticism, and they just see Teron Armstead all over again. So for me, I'm pulling the trigger on Mims. I'm taking him over, guys like J.C. Latham and Troy Fontenot, just because his profile, 6'8", I believe 325, and all of his athletic traits were in the top of the class. So it's really hard not to go ahead and pick up that guy, even if he's got a little bit of development that needs to happen.
All right, Austin, you're on the clock. Indianapolis, they've got quite a few needs. Interior offensive lineman, wide receiver.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy, self-explanatory. You know what you got back there, running back and quarterback wise. You got to protect them. You get an offensive tackle and J.C. Latham from Alabama.
So you're going to go tackle? Their tackles are pretty solid. Their big needs are guard and center, and you still have Jackson Powers Johnson on the board from Oregon. Dude is a total versatile monster, 6'3", 320. He's not big enough to play on the outside, but like their outside wasn't leaving a lot to be desired last year.
I mean, their left tackle, Ryman, and right tackle, Braden Smith. I mean, they did draft Blake Freeman last year, so they've got him in the bag. So I wouldn't be mad at tackle. I mean, it's not like they really need guard or center. Like their interior solid. Ryan Kelly's getting up there in age, but I
just think with all the linemen on the board, J.C. Latham is just one of the biggest.
Dolphins need J.C. Latham at 21.
Yeah, I know they do, but big boys got to go.
Yeah.
All right, so J.C. at 15, that puts you with Seattle at 16.
Which, if you had taken Jackson Powers Johnson, I would have easily taken Jared Verse, edge from Florida State. But with guard and center being such a big need for Seattle, they were like one of the worst teams at the edge. But to get a guy like that at this point, it is right around his average draft position. I think that they're going to have to pull the trigger. They need to have that run game be able to take the step forward. They drafted a running back in the second last year. They do have a very solid in Walker. So I think that Jackson Power Johnson.
Right.
Not mad at that. Now we're looking at the board here. I don't think it'll fall this way because I think a lot of these edge guys like Jared Verse and these DBs like Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, I think they're gonna come off a little quicker. And I'm taking one of them right here, right now. I'm taking Quinyon Mitchell, first corner off the board to Jacksonville at number 17.
I like that so much, man. We talked about him on the last mock on how high you were from him because of the Senior Bowl, but just seeing the way that dude runs,
the combine,
he's
dominated
so
every evaluation
hard.
process so far. Like, and it wasn't a matter of he did any or Terrion Arnold did anything to fall behind him. It's just for me, Quinyon's just coming from the small school, showing what he's got against all these bigger school guys. Like, to me, that just shows a little more dog in him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm always going to draft the dog over, the bigger dog.
Oh.
So, yeah, just, who let the dogs out. So, Quinyon going to 17 to Jacksonville. I think he goes much higher than this, but because he's on the board, we're taking him. Austin, you got the Bengals with your guy, Joey B.
Who them Bengals going to take at
18?
Pick 18. So they're all over the place. What do they need?
Tight end, tackle, and defensive
interior. Oh, well, what do you know? We got that boy Brock Bowers lined up for him.
Yeah, I don't think he falls past this.
It's a tough. Yeah, he's falling a little far, but he can realistically.
He's not falling past 18, is what we're saying. I think that he could possibly get to this point, just because I like the talent of a lot of these other guys over him, especially the receivers that have come off the board.
I think if Brock doesn't go to the Chargers at 5, realistically falls to this spot.
Mm-hmm. Just because of team needs.
Yeah, just going through team needs. I mean, the Saints, maybe.
Yep, I can
see that. Maybe.
Yeah, the Colts do need a tight end, actually.
Like, the Vikings don't need one. The Jets, if they are able to do some things in free agency as far as their offensive line, I could see him going to the Jets at 10. But he doesn't get past 18.
I've seen him going to the Jets. I think the Colts would honestly be a really good landing spot for him because the Colts need a receiver type and they need some help on the line. So
yeah.
Now LA is in a situation that they're not used to. They have a first-round pick, which I don't think they've had since Sean McVay's been there.
Yeah, Les Snead did not say F them picks this year. He kept the first round. So
yeah. I think the best player off of the board right now is Jared Verse. Just looking at everyone that's available. Terrion Arnold, nothing wrong with him, but Jared Verse is just athletic. He's elite at the position. He's the second edge off of the board, and in a lot of mocks, he could go 1. I know that we took Dallas Turner because of his speed and versatility, but Verse just he's got that step. He's got everything that you need. So I think that they cannot pass up on him, especially they already have the interior defensive line very short up still, but they only have it for a couple more years. So they need someone that can make a difference on the outside right now.
Not mad at that. You're getting a premier player at a premier position falling all the way to you at 19 when nobody and their mother expects that to happen. So it's one of those to where you just kind of take them because you don't bite the hand that feeds you type of thing. I mean, if it's given to you, just take it. Yeah, all right. Steelers on the clock at pick number 20.
They're always tough with their picks.
They are tough with their picks, but for me, this pick is really easy. I'm going Cooper DeJean.
Really? Ooh. Oh, I was so surprised. I thought you were going to go Peyton Wilson.
Nope. Going Cooper DeJean. Peyton Wilson, I loved what he did in the combine, but I don't know if there's any middle linebackers in this draft that'll end up going in the first. And so for me, picking him at pick 20 is a little rich. Could have looked at Frazier at center, but again, I think this might be a little high for him. Cooper's just the do-it-all DB. He can play corner, he can play safety. You've got Minka there, who is also another do-it-all DB, so you get to play with those guys a little bit as far as, chess pieces in the back end of your defense. Also, coming from Iowa, you already know what he looks like in the uniform because it's pretty much the same thing. So jersey sales will be really easy because Iowa guys can just wear their Iowa jerseys.
All right, Austin, don't fuck this up.
Oh, well, we know what the Dolphins need at pick 21.
Actually,
I
don't know if O-line, I'm just going to say it. I don't know if O-line is for sure the pick here. Especially after losing Xavier Howard. Like, I'm interested to see what they're able to pull off in free agency, but with the amount of corners on this board here, I wouldn't be shocked to see this be a spot for Terrion Arnold. Maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry, but after the foot injury, that kind of hurts my soul a little bit. Nate Wiggins, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
They could also look at edge because I've seen
Wiggins
edge is there 6'2",
as well. 185 too. He plays really big at corner, and we saw how fast he was whenever he hurt himself during his 40, because he just ran so damn fast.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Just tweaked his groin a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. He's fine.
So, yeah, what do you got for the Dolphins here? Because there's still good offensive tackles on the board, and like I said, I've become such a big fan of Zach Frazier, the center from West Virginia, 4-time state champion wrestler. His longest wrestling match went 57 seconds. His longest one. Like, and I love, you're giving me that in an interior offensive lineman. Like, you've played interior offensive lineman. Like, that's what it is. It's just a wrestling match every single play.
The only thing I'm worried about at this point is that he might bully the left tackle and then get fined.
Dude, the dude broke his leg in the final regular season game for West Virginia, crawled off the field because they did not have any timeouts. And then they went on to win the game on a game-winning drive. Dude is a dog. Like, love Zach Frazier at this point in the draft. Still might be a little high for him. Sorry, got off the rails there a little bit. Go ahead, Austin.
So, edge from UCLA, Latu. It just seems like a guy for y'all. It just seems like a perfect fit.
I've seen it happen a lot. I'm actually really upset by it because we already have 2 premier. It's like such not a position of need. I think the first round, it's really important to take best guy available, but to do it in
best available.
But to do it in a position of need, it's 2 birds, 1 stone. And there are, like Justin said, we're losing X. We know that for a fact. They haven't put us as DB as a need because we have Jalen Ramsey, but we don't have a number 2 corner. Cam Smith was a 2nd-round pick last year. Didn't really even touch the field, so we don't know what we're getting from him.
Is solid, but he's better in the nickel.
He's a nickel. Sure. He's a nickel all day. So,
this is one of those, as a Dolphins fan, you're not mad because it just makes your defense that much better, but you're slightly disappointed because you know what was still available on the board.
Yeah.
But Philly at 22.
Philly's biggest weakness for like the past 4 or 5 years has been staying healthy. It isn't even about like their DBs aren't good. They just don't have them on the field all the time. And they absolutely need more depth at the position. I think Nate Wiggins is probably the best player available, but because they've been burned so much on injury, him and Kool-Aid McKinstry are probably off their board at this point. They might trade back for someone like that, but I think Terrion Arnold, he is the more solid of the 2 cornerbacks from Alabama. He had a great combine. He just, in general, he looked the part across the board. He's a very solid pick at 22. To be able to get this guy, he should be taken way before this. So I think that's where they go. I think it's crazy they have wide receivers in need. If I felt like they actually needed a wide receiver, Brian Thompson Jr. all day long. But they don't. They have Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. They have Dallas Goedert. They don't even have a throwing quarterback. They have a running quarterback. So
now, with all that being said, coming up at 23 with the Houston Texans, I know we have argued consistently why is wide receiver listed as a need when you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Now, Nico Collins is coming up for a contract after this next season.
And as much as everyone said he's the number one.
And because this dude has fallen to this pick at 23, Brian Thomas Jr. would absolutely be a steal for that Texans offense. With CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell, that offense would be electric.
That's speed, bro. They already have Tank Dell taking the top off. Nico Collins isn't slow by any means. He's just a possession guy. He can high point the ball really well. 50-50 balls he takes down 60-70% of the time. Brian Thompson's going to help them out so much.
Brian Thomas.
I have said that 3 times now, haven't I?
You do.
He's my favorite receiver, and I get his name
put it
wrong.
Down as Brian Thompson, and I'm just like, what is this guy doing? Come on,
Brian Thomas Jr. All right,
I'm gonna get you a custom-made Thompson jersey for wherever he was drafted. It'll say Thompson.
There you go. All right, Austin.
You get the Cowboys on the clock at 24.
I wonder if that was planned.
That's what he did. He went and counted and was like, "This is why I want this pick." Did you?
I had to steal your Dolphins from you too. It just lined up that way. So yeah, I think the biggest needs for the Cowboys is cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver, running back, and offensive tackle.
So a lot of needs.
A lot of needs there, but really not really, because I mean, the Cowboys team is
Tyron Smith is retiring this year, so offensive tackle is absolutely a need.
Yeah. But I do think the Cowboys like to make splash plays, and there's a serious talent sitting here for them, and they do want a good wide receiver to back up CeeDee Lamb. I could see him going in all directions here, but a pick I really like for them is Keon Coleman.
Wow,
over A.D. Mitchell
and over Troy Franklin, which I like. I really like Keon Coleman's skill set a lot. And you don't need the speed guy because CD does have the burners. I think the fact that this guy just plays really good football speed and he's got the hands. I mean, his gauntlet was unbelievably smooth.
Yeah.
His was the biggest discrepancy. And like I said, he is the absolute just prototypical play speed versus track speed. Like if anybody from here on out, I will always go back to Keon Coleman, his 40 time versus his miles per hour that he put up actually catching balls and running in a straight line without breaking stride in the gauntlet. That to me helped his draft stock so much more than what his 40 time did, because his 40 time honestly kind of hurt him a little bit. And I think he'll, hopefully in the pro day he comes out and improves on that a little bit. But yeah, I'm a little shocked, not gonna lie, but like you said, Jerry does like to make a little splash, so go out with a bang here. And it gives you that possession guy on the opposite side of CD, where CD is more of the game changer type guy for you. So I'm not mad at that.
I really like where he's fallen here. Like, I would be ecstatic with this pick.
Yeah. Whenever Noah Brown was there, Noah Brown did look like CeeDee Lamb. I can't think of the other receiver that you guys have right now that I've always disliked. Gallup has never been solid. He's always been good enough to play.
He's too injured, too.
Yeah. So I think Keon Coleman is an upgrade over Gallup right away, day one. Mm-hmm. Now, Green Bay being on the clock, what were you saying?
And we possibly find someone in free agency for that offensive tackle. Like, if we go that direction, I mean, you don't get a guy in the first
Dallas
round.
always gets free agents. You get to play in
People
Jerry
love
World,
to play there,
no state tax. Like, it's so easy for Dallas to get free agents. So you're right there. Green Bay at 25. What do you got?
The fact that Byron Murphy is still on the board. I know in our previous mock I took Jerzon Newton, but the way Byron Murphy showed up at the combine, like the size does not matter. His speed, athleticism, quickness, everything that he did, it proved that he is the better prospect, and he's rank 11, average draft position 15. To get him at 25 is a steal and a half. I think that they have to take him. They didn't stop the run last year at all, and that was their biggest weakness whenever the playoffs started, was teams were just running all over them, and they need someone to really solidify that.
Their D line is young.
I'm glad you
I
made
think
that
they
pick.
need more help at cornerback. I don't know if it's a first round need for
Not
them, but
necessarily. I think they need more help in the safety. So, like Tyler Nubin
Yeah.
from Minnesota would have been a solid pick here for them as well. I wouldn't have been mad at that at all. But Byron Murphy's just one of those guys, especially in that NFC North, where when it comes down to it towards the end of the season in those cold weather games, you need somebody to stop the run. You've got it right there. And he's
On
got
top
pass
of
rush
that,
ability.
there's still quite a few corners and safeties on the board that do look really solid. There's a huge fall off on defensive interior after the top 2 or 3 guys. I
Yeah.
think that getting the top guy in the draft instead of taking Tyler Newman's the top safety in the draft, but I don't know. I think there's still some to be desired, and Byron Murphy did not show much to be desired. He seems like an elite player from a day one starter.
Agreed. I've got Tampa Bay on the clock here at 26. Now, with them re-signing Mike Evans, kind of helps me out on my pick here a little bit. And with the way the board is falling here, they have a lot of needs. Like they need
Yes.
edge, they need linebacker, they need corner. Well, it's a passing league. Their pass defense looked absolutely abysmal last year. I'm going Nate Wiggins. His slide stops here. Like I said, I'm not worried about the groin after him running the 40. He's gonna be fine. He's shown me enough. I like his tape, and for him to come off the board here at 26, I think he goes earlier than this, but it instantly gives another playmaking DB back there to help Antoine Winfield Jr. out.
So you get
Buffalo.
the Cardinals' second pick.
Oh, Cardinal.
Yep.
My bad. 27.
Now they've already taken their wide receiver in Malik Neighbors. So what do you have them doing now, Austin?
Let's see. Yeah, it's tough. I hate these Cardinals.
This is one of those luxury picks to where they can just take best player available and nothing can be said.
Yeah.
Especially because their needs across the board are O-line, D-line, linebacker, cornerback. Like every position they have it as a need except for tight end and wide receiver, quarterback.
I could see Kool-Aid going here to the Arizona.
I like that.
I like that for them.
Kool-Aid.
Arizona's a tough pick. I mean, based off how they looked last year, it's like they need a lot. So
Exactly.
we can't fix their problems with the first round.
I think
these corners got to come off the board at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The O linemen have gotten to a point where it's not deep anymore. Troy Fontenot and Graham Barton aren't bad, but like we said in the previous mock, Graham Barton's looking like he might play more interior instead of on the exterior. He is versatile, so he could do both, which would help him. But I think that Kool-Aid is probably best player available at this point.
Buffalo Bills, pick number 28.
This is my worst nightmare, man. Like the fact that Troy Franklin is still here and they're picking.
For me, it's not even Troy Franklin. It's A.D. Mitchell.
A.D. Mitchell. So I do. Whenever we were doing our recap after the combine, I was salivating over A.D. Mitchell. But I went back and watched some of his film, and he seems kind of like a bit of a one-trick pony, and that he runs like the straight routes really well, but he's not really a technician in that route running. Troy Franklin's not either. I don't think that they're going to go with Xavier at this point just because he broke the record. It does help him a little bit. Josh Allen's got a cannon. They can stretch the field a little bit for their run game, which is with their quarterback. I don't know. Going back and forth between the two, it's difficult.
A.D. Mitchell, 6'4", 196. Troy Franklin sitting at 6'3", 187.
And he's really only 6'2" whenever he got measured at the combine. So I think you're right, Justin. I think that they probably go with A.D. Mitchell. He ran a better 40. He just in general was more athletic.
Is that how you pronounce his name, or are you
Adonai.
guys shortening it?
It's Adonai, but he goes by A.D. Mitchell. He's listed by as A.D. Mitchell on the roster. He was at Georgia. Like that's why whenever like we first started all of this process and I saw Adonai Mitchell, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's AD, but like now I've got to double check. Like there's not another Mitchell on the team here, but yeah. So this pick, I know the Bills for the most part. I'll be shocked if they don't go wide receiver.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
where the board's falling and how it looks like the board may fall, I don't think Brian Thomas makes it here. I'll be kind of shocked if AD Mitchell does make it all the way down to 28. I'm terrified if he does.
Yeah.
I would rather them as a fan on the other side of it have them take somebody much less athletic. But I can't choose it that way. So yeah, as the GM for them, I would go AD Mitchell. I think you're right on that. He's just explosive as hell.
I don't think they miss on either. Troy Franklin and AD Mitchell, they got a lot closer for me. We had Troy Franklin going a little bit higher. I don't even know if did we have AD Mitchell going in the first on the last one. Was he like maybe the pick for Kansas City or something? Like one of the last couple picks.
Let me look back at it. I've actually got it pulled up here because I was prepared for a question like that. I don't think we did.
Yeah. So he's definitely gone up boards. We talked about in our preview episode that he was one of the players that could have really gotten himself into the first, and I think that he did a lot to do that. He looked so good. He had a couple missteps, but I think that he's an improvement over Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis for sure, and
Yep.
Gabe Davis is gone. So you got
Detroit
29.
Grit City 29.
all my teams, boy.
Yo, actually, this is my pick, buddy. So you can just sit back and chill out for a second.
I'm just going to
You're
pipe
right.
down.
Anyways, so in our last mock, we had them taking Zach Frazier here, which I wouldn't be shocked to see them still do that. Just keep building up the trenches there on that O-line. They love running the damn ball. Looking at it, I'm looking at the defensive interior and the edges on the board here. After what he did in the combine, I'm taking Chop Robinson right here.
Thank you.
Yes.
That dude is a freak, and if you put him on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, good freaking luck. Like that pass rush is going to be insane. I hate myself because I actually feel like he should have gone higher, and I probably should have taken him somewhere higher. He was kind of buried down here on my board, and I overlooked him. This would make sense, though, with, just the way our board has fallen to this point. I'm just going to say it, though, where you took Latu for the Dolphins, I'd much rather them take Chop Robinson. I just think he's more of the versatile guy as far as being able to put his hand in the dirt and stand up on 2 feet. He is an edge, and Latu is also an edge. I just think Chop is the more versatile of the two.
His first name's Chop?
Chop Robinson, baby.
Yeah,
he used to be Pork Chop or something.
I'm not seeing him on my board for some
Pork
reason.
Chop Robinson, Penn State.
Maybe I accidentally clicked him. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not seeing him.
All right, well, you've got Baltimore on the board here at 30.
This one's a tough one. We know they need a solid running back, but they also love to draft defensive players. Oh, and they need a receiver. So yeah, I think Troy Franklin fell to him is kind of perfect for him. I think he's a solid fit for that system.
I'm not against that at all.
Corner or wide receiver at this point with what we're looking at, you're on the right track there. And who's here? Enos Rakestraw, maybe he's a feisty dude. Like, I love his game, but with Troy Franklin falling to him, I'm not mad at that at all.
Rakestraw.
Mizzou, baby.
I also like TJ Tampa. That boy's a beast.
So San Fran's on the clock. At this point, I think that if they're Enos Rakestraw, I didn't not like him, but he didn't I don't know, he didn't do enough for me where I think that he's a have to pick at this point. Cornerback is probably their biggest need, but I think that with the way that their offense works, that they do need to shore up their offensive line. I think that Graham Barton is probably the more versatile between the two guys that are left. So I think that we're going to go there. Troy Fontenot is easily like that would not be a horrible pick at all from Washington. That's like
But it's the versatility. I got you. Graham can literally play all 5 positions on the offensive line.
And they have some needs at that point. They have the best running back in football, so let's open up some lanes for him and make it to where he's only got another couple years, maybe 1 or 2 at the most, of being the best running back in football. His brother's about to enter the league, so we'll see what happens after that.
There are so many good wide receivers falling to the second round. Like, so many. Like Xavier Leggett, Devontae Walker, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk.
And we took 7.
Roman Wilson, Ladd McConkey. Oh, we're taking another. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to get their next Tyreek. They're taking Xavier Worthy. After what he just did in the combine, posting the record, and out of all the guys who have set the records or on the top 10, as far as wide receivers go, I mean, you've got CJ2K and you've got Tariq Woolen, which it's still a little early for Tariq. So, as far as wide receivers go, none of them have panned out. I don't think that'll happen with Xavier Worthy. He, to me, is more of a complete wide receiver than those other ones were. He's more of a route technician. His whip routes, he just absolutely leaves cornerbacks jock straps in the dirt. We've seen the speed. He can do it, taking it over the top. They've already got Rashee Rice, so they've got their bigger body guy that can kind of catch it over the middle. We've seen, Mahomes can get it done, but he's so much more effective when he's got that deep threat over the top. So I don't think Xavier Worthy falls out of the first round. Typically, when you get these guys with the killer 40s, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Just speed
it seems
kills.
like a perfect
It can't
spot
be
for
taught.
him. The other guy I would have going there is just like Ladd McConkey, just a different type of receiver. You can trust him. Like
I think they go wide receiver. Them and the Bills to me
100%.
just scream wide receiver in this draft.
100%. But
back end.
the thing I like about Ladd McConkey is just
love
so
Ladd.
reliable for the Chiefs. Like with the way that they were having all the receivers dropping the ball, like you don't want to risk it.
I think Rashee Rice.
I like that.
Rashee Rice is a very similar type of play style. He plays a little bit bigger than Ladd. I think that Xavier is what they wanted Mecole Hardman to be is what Xavier Worthy projects to be.
And you're getting it at the end of the first.
We lost Tyreek Hill.
So
let's get the next fastest guy.
Like, yeah, and we said it in our post-combine recap. Like, with his size, his build, and obviously the speed, like, if he can get the routes down and become at least a 70% catch rate type of guy, if you throw it to him 10 times, he's catching 7 of them, you're looking at a Tyreek mold. So for me, why not take him? Especially at the end of the first, you just won a Super Bowl, you're playing with house money. Why not?
They're in a really interesting spot. I mean, being at the end of the first, seeing who goes before them, if there's a run on receivers, they're going to get screwed. But there's a lot of great options for them.
That's the thing,
especially for what they are looking for.
You'd have to have 8, 9, 10 wide receivers go before them in order for one not to fall that's worthy of the first. And even then, I still think they might pull the trigger.
Yeah. A scary person
wide receiver is the deepest. Wide receiver and offensive tackle are the 2 deepest positions in this entire draft. Which is why I think you'll see a lot of guys fall to the second round that probably shouldn't. Yeah. So for me, that's where, whenever we do get into our 2-round mock draft, that's going to be awesome because a lot of those second round guys could have had an argument for them to be taken in the first round. It just depends on need and flavor.
A big spark play for the Chiefs if they were to draft Xavier Leggett would be kind of wild. I don't see that kind of receiver fit in that system, but it would be an interesting piece.
I don't know if Xavier's done enough to push himself into the first either.
And they
just off the build and everything, you want that guy on your team.
They got burned with the guy that they drafted or that they traded from the Giants, which is very similar type of Kadarius Toney, get the ball in his hand and see what he can do with it. That's kind of what looks like.
He's a smaller.
He's a much smaller than Xavier.
Yeah, but athleticism wise and just open field tackle breaking and all that type of stuff.
Kadarius just can't catch a cold in Antarctica. That's his problem.
I mean, that guy's got an attitude problem, it seems like.
The next best guy I see the Chiefs actually acquiring is Roman Wilson. Just a reliable guy that's going to get you the rock and get your first downs.
I could see
he's going to get open.
Would it be
and if there's a big run on receiver, it's a guy that can see sitting there for them.
Well, we did it, boys.
Biggest shock to me, honestly, was just Bo Nix and Michael Penix both going as high as they did. Us having 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 13 picks. Again, I'll be shocked if it happens, but you heard it here first.
And that's the only ones there.
This is how the draft is going down. No need to watch it. Just check back to this episode. Y'all be sure to hit the noti bell. That way, when our episodes drop, you get them firsthand. Like, comment, subscribe, send your friends, make them subscribe. We hit 500 subscribers. We get you the jersey of your choice. Do it for us. Hit that outro music. We love you guys. Peace.
JJ McCarthy going first.